Hello everybody and welcome to this 4th Saturday garden update for March. Here we are in the aviary. On the left here I've got all loads of buddleia cuttings again. All of these cuttings are now growing in these square pots, as I had loads and loads of them, and I can actually fit more of these into this guttering, so I've decided to use these here. And all these on the silver tower and on this little stand I've got here, these are all from work. I got all these little plants, these are all being thrown away. I thought, wow, I can use them instead of the others, so I did a trade. Yeah, you can see just how many pots I've still got, so I should never run out of those. I've started a new project called making these tanukis, where you just get an old stick and you carve out or tie the new plants into them the way you want. I've made a few examples which I can show you. In here I've got all these little plant pots, more plants ready, and down there more buddleia cuttings. These are the white ones in here, and those on the bottom are very light purple ones. I did have some of those cuttings growing right down there in those little pots, and a caterpillar got to them and they all disappeared one day and I didn't even notice. Behind the door here I've built a new workbench. This is good for work projects where I'm outside, where I don't get all this dust inside the gym. I might even eventually use it for storing plants on. Yeah, this buddleia looks a little bit thin on the ground. There's not much growth on it, so I might have to consider replacing it again, but I'll see how it does. All these plants, there's the plant bench is filling up, all the spireas I've got there, and these other trees, the rose is doing nicely. I've trimmed it back a little bit so that it's about this size. The beech, the lilac, the wisteria. The wisteria's just about starting to send some buds. So yeah, next month these will all be growing. Woo. All these oaks, these will come back, these will grow next month. Here's some examples I've got of tanuki, which I've watched from herons and other people on the internet. I've seen how they do this. They just plant something that's live next to something that's not alive anymore, and this grows into the deadwood, and after a certain amount of time it looks quite convincing, like it could be the same, although it isn't. But I'm trying it with buddleia because I've got so much buddleia. Any of these little baby buddleia stems I just plant next to. This is a bit of wood, a bit of oak that I found on a walk, and this is the dead buddleias. This is the big dead buddleia here, this one that's from the bottom there. I decided to cut it out and use it again, and these are just little sticks that I've placed in smaller pots with the little buddleias, and that's actually 2 sticks together. So yes, this one here has got a hollow inside there, and I've actually placed, if I turn it around, you can see inside it's hollow, and that will grow into that, and you can actually get a convincingly older looking plant. I've also used like a piece of bike tire so the string doesn't damage it while it's growing. There's another one there, just a little, just a dead piece of wood, but there you go. This one here, a very large one, this buddleia, very big buddleia. It's also a really good support for it, so that should grow quite nicely. What have we got in the greenhouse? It's nice and warm. It's very cold out there at the moment. Very cold. But yes, Hebes. These are slowly but surely. This one, I might have to put it up into the next pot. Over here, these 4 acers are my mother-in-law's acers. I'm not sure if they're gonna keep growing to a certain point and then suddenly let go like what they did before, but so far so good. These are all my neighbour's acers. I would say the best one is this one here, fingers crossed. All the others are still not doing much. That one there at the back is limey, the dead one from 2 years ago. I'm just using it as a reference. That's a lilac from the one I've got. This is the sweet gum, the best looking sweet gum. I don't know what the roots are like, but judging so far so good. These are the sweet chestnuts. This is the oldest one of the two, which is looking pretty good. These are from the same tree, these sweet chestnut seeds that I got those from 6 years ago. If you look back in my 2018 videos, you'll see some sweet chestnuts with the oak trees. Yeah, these are from the same tree. So that's pretty cool. These are more cuttings from one of my trees I got on the bench. These are the rose cuttings. These have got false acacia seeds, and I'm sure I had one, but it got eaten. It got eaten pretty fast, unfortunately. This I had hanging up here. I've taken it down now because there's no pepper seeds growing, so I thought, oh, let's just put it down there. I had it hanging up so that slugs and things couldn't easily get to the peppers as they're shooting, and then I should at least get some peppers. But yeah, these peppers, these are the survivors from the mini greenhouse. I had these high up where it's slightly warmer, and they've just about hung on, which is pretty good. So we'll see how they do. These down here, there's sweet gum seeds in there, but there's no shoots emerging apart from that, which is something from work. So I've just left it back into the fridge, I mean outside. We've got over here, I've emptied all those two bins to half, and I've buried a lot of that soil down there in here. I've used a lot of soil from there as well inside that metal bin, and I was thinking of burning those to charcoal and then mixing that charcoal with the little plastic container down there on the floor. I've got some comfrey, which is just like greens but soaked in water. When that rots down nicely, I'll put that charcoal in there, and then that charcoal should soak up all the comfrey, all the nutrition, and I can use it as plant food. That's my idea. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but maybe, we'll see. I put a lot of the soil from the compost bins here as well, just so that I can, you know, have it ready, and then I can use it for projects. And I've also put a lot of the maples that I had over behind me in these containers. These are not completely full of soil. I planted a load of wood and sticks, and I had a load more wood in there, like some logs as well, wet logs, not the dry ones to burn. So I just thought I'll bury those, save some soil. So I thought I had a ton of soil, and I started filling pots up and found that it's gone down quite quickly. I've decided to use all these odd shaped pots, these silver ones and these other types, for these maples. These are pretty much all of last year's maples still. I might use these for tanuki, a lot of them, not all of them. This one here is cuttings of a maple, so you can see they're all very random, whereas the seeds are all just like a stem coming out. This big one here is a year older than the others. I found growing by the house. But yeah, there we are. This is another tanuki. This one went wrong. This buddleia actually had a very long stem that I could have covered the top, so unfortunately that snapped, so I'm going to have to leave that one there long term. So this year that will hopefully cover up. That's the forsythia, looking good. And honeysuckle. This, I don't know what this is called. It's just a hedging plant, I think, but it is doing really well there. And then the rest of the garden, got daffodils are coming out. I planted some of these primroses that I got free from work. And yes, I've kept this little bit here by the path clear, and I'll just keep that clear as it all grows. The spirea over here in this pot, looking really nice. And my dad's maple, that looks like it could be a tanuki, but it isn't. It's genuine from 24 years ago. It is basically, you can see coming out there. I first cut this back in May 22. and you could see it was just a stick more or less then, and then all these started shooting forth, and it looks good. In the last 2 years it's done pretty well, and these are all the same. And there we are, that's my update for March.